always cut a little off at the beginning if need to.
Okay.
What?
1 minute after, actually over 2 minutes after. So we'll go ahead and start our meeting. First off, I'd like to welcome everybody to Oklahoma Second Amendment Association Kay County Chapter. And a special welcome to those who drove from Edmond and from Hennessy and from other locations around the state. We really appreciate your attendance and support. Can you hear me? Yeah, that's good. Okay. Maybe come up closer, Tony. I'm hearing it. Okay. This time I'd like to ask everyone to please silence your cell phones. Thank you. I'd like to extend Oklahoma Second Amendment Association thanks and appreciation to both Steve Phipps and Pastor Jack Adams. Without their support, these meetings would not be as easy to put on. And I just want to make sure that they know how much they are appreciated. Back there at the back table, that's Dr. Glenn Coe. If you want to sign up for an Oklahoma Second Amendment Association membership, he is the guy to see. He's also got information on the Ponca City Rifle and Pistol Club. And that is hands down the best place to shoot in Kay County. We've got, I think, 6 pistol bays, 4 pistol bays, thank you. A 50, 100, 200, and 300 yard range. We've got a target where you can pattern your shotguns. It's a nice deal. And if you want to shoot, it's the best place in Kay County to shoot. Glenn can help you with that. Also, do we have anybody here that needs to register to vote? Oh, good. Same at the last meeting. If you know anybody that needs to register, we have registration forms back there. You're welcome to take them to your friends or family. Okay, I'd like to call on Pastor Jack to lead us in prayer.
Okay, we got good audio. Take it here.
And I'm glad you're all here today. To me, these are important meetings because of the days that we're living in. So thank you for coming. Let's pray. Father, Lord, we just want to thank you for the opportunity to gather in your house, Lord, to look at this very, very crucial and important amendment. And Lord, give us direction, give us guidance, Lord. Bless our endeavors. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
And if you'll join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, welcome. I'm Terry Lee Thompson. I'm the chapter coordinator for Kay County. I have bunches of cards on the back table. Please grab cards, or you get them from me. The cards have all the information printed on the back as to where and when to come to our meetings. So get them out to your friends. The more those we can get out, the more people can get aware of what we need to do to protect our constitutional rights in this country. How many are at their first meeting of OK2A? Wow, very good. Thank you. Thank you for coming. How many OK2A members are present? Okay. Now, how many are not members but have attended an OK2A meeting before? Okay. I do want to ask, if you're not a member, why not? What are you waiting for? Our money is spent to get the laws through the legislature. The anti-red flag law that passed a month or 2 ago, we were absolutely instrumental in getting that passed. Everybody know what red flag laws are?
Yes.
Okay. Just another way they're trying to turn us from citizens to subjects. OK2A statement, we're not merely a gun organization, we're a liberty organization that just recognizes it may take firearms to maintain that liberty. I've used this analogy before. If you look at the Constitution as a stone arch, the Second Amendment is the keystone at the top of that arch, holding everything together. If you remove the Second Amendment, the arch has no strength and it collapses. That's our Constitution. So that's why this is so important. Some of our goals. We want to expand liberty in Oklahoma by preserving and expanding the Second Amendment. We want to expand our infrastructure through membership and chapter expansion. If you have any friends or kin in other locations that might be interested in this, give them our information. In fact, the gentleman back there in the yellow OK2A shirt, that is Mr. Wayne Hill. He drove all the way up from Owasso, and he is our state ride coordinator. And there is the OTAP. He drove up from Yukon. We want to develop and build partnership and relationships with elected and appointed officials and law enforcement officers. These cops are under absolute assault right now all over the country. They're having deadly force used against them, and they're not allowed to use deadly force. In fact, they're not allowed to use any force at all in reply. Something seriously wrong with that, folks. Yeah. We want to develop and leverage OK2A's resources. We want to educate members and the Oklahoma public on the Oklahoma Second Amendment, liberty-related legislation and events. And that would be information on candidates, information on bills. One of the things that drew me to OK2A first off was I can read one of those bills those lawyers write 4 or 5 times, and I got no idea what it says. That's why they write it that way, because you got to hire an attorney to figure out what it says. With OK2A, you can get plain language explanations of these laws. Thank you for coming, Adrian, all the way from Utah. Good to see you again, brother. Yeah. You got an excuse you had to drive. I'm not complaining. And before I get on to our main part of the program, there was a question at the last meeting, and I told everybody I would find out. The question was, can you wear body armor and carry a weapon at the same time? And the answer is a qualified yes. What qualifies it is you're not allowed to commit a crime while you're wearing the body armor and carrying a weapon. Now, that crime could be trying to stick up the liquor store, but it could also be having a joint in your pocket. Okay? I don't know if that would apply to traffic laws or not, but if you're wearing body armor and carrying a weapon, make sure you walk the line. Because if you get the wrong cop or the wrong prosecutor, that would be an enhancement on whatever crime they got you for. Question?
Isn't it? It's just the intention, right?
Well, no. How do they know what you're going to intend to do? Of course, they're trying to pass laws now for that.
Right.
But it's actually wearing armor and carrying a weapon and committing a crime. So walking in the door at the liquor store would be a problem. When you pull the gun out, that would be a problem.
Yeah.
If you leave the house with a joint in your pocket, that would be a problem. Yeah. Everybody's aware that you are allowed to carry a weapon and wear a mask. Okay. All right. Now we're going to get on to the interesting part of the program. Yes.
We do have some seats back here.
Oh.
We can set out some more.
Yeah, we got.
There's 2 right here.
Get you some chairs. I didn't see you all over there. Right here. Where'd you all come from? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Our program today is Mr. Kobe Snyder. Kobe is the owner at Salt Fork Armory. Does everybody know where that is? No? Good. I'm going to tell you. It's on Fountain Road. That's exit 211. That's the South Tonkawa exit where Love's is. You exit Fountain Road and go east towards Ponca City. That's the only paved road you can go on at that exit. Half a mile down on the right, big red barn building with gun, what, 4 foot high? 4 foot high letters, same guns. That's Kobe. By the way, he's got 67, did you tell me? He's got 67 operational, full auto guns in that store. It's worth just walking in to look at them. It's quite a collection. And you can rent them if you want to go shoot full auto. Kobe is also a Self-Defense Act, a concealed carry instructor, personal defense, and a combat instructor. Kobe is the expert. I'll turn it forward to Kobe. Let him educate us.
Welcome to be here. Like I said, I'm running Salt Fork Armory. Just got into the building last year. I've been doing this since 1996. So got a few years experience. Also merged with another shop. If some of you are familiar with Desmond Clemens Firearms over in Enid, been good friends with him for a long time. We actually merged our shops together. So that's where a lot of our class 3 stuff come from. He brought about 30 or 40 guns over. So if you notice the dirt pile out back, the range is not.
Could you use the mic,
Use
please?
the microphone, please.
Can everyone hear me in the back?
We're
I'm
recording.
picking it up for video.
Oh, you're picking up for
Yeah.
video, okay. Normally, I speak pretty loud, so.
That's better.
So, we do have a dirt pile right now. Our range is not operational, that's in the process. So a lot of people are asking about that. We only go to the old-fashioned machine gun shoot in Wyandotte. So, if you've ever been to that, that kind of gives you an idea of what we have available. Main focus, what I want to talk about is a little bit of the classes and instruction we do offer. Especially in today's environment, education is key. Everyone out here, I'm sure, if you're a 2A supporter, you've fired a shotgun, pistol, rifle, okay? Knowing how to operate it and shoot it is two completely different things, okay? I'll use an AR-15 as a perfectly good example. Shooting an AR-15 and running an AR-15 is two completely different things, okay? They can get very, very complicated, just like a semi-automatic handgun. A lot of times when I instruct SDA classes, I see first-time shooters and they've gone to gun stores and they've purchased a semi-automatic firearm, and here this 90-pound girl comes out with a Colt 1911 full size. She can't even hold a slide back. Okay? The salesman got her on something that is just not fit for her. You have to fit the firearm for your needs.
Sir, will you please hold that microphone up there?
A little bit more. Right. Okay, so when we're fitting a firearm, to you, it's your personal needs. Okay, it's just like shoes or clothes. It needs to be fit to you. A lot of people don't understand that. See that a lot in training on law enforcement side. I've instructed multiple female shooters that the department gives them a full-size Glock 21, 45 ACP, cannot handle it, cannot shoot it to save their life. You hand them a smaller frame gun and all of a sudden they're shooting 90%. Okay? So, very, very critical to fit the firearm to your needs. I'm a big revolver fan, not only for first-time shooters, but for self-defense. If any of you are familiar with the workings of a semi-automatic firearm, fits inside of clothes, catches something inside of a purse. I call it a one-shot wonder. Okay? Revolver, it works all the time. So just something to think about when you are purchasing a self-defense firearm. Think about what is it its intended use. Okay? Home defense. Again, the classic 12-gauge shotgun pump is probably one of the better options. out there. I know a lot of people want a handgun just because it's small, but just the power and sound of a 12-gauge shotgun being racked is universal. Get out of my house. Okay, that's pretty much universal. Same with an AR-15. So my main focus was to get to gun safety rules. Has everyone heard the 4 basic gun safety rules? Okay. Treat every firearm as if it's loaded. Okay. Keep your finger off the trigger until you are ready to kill that item you're aiming at. Know your target and what is beyond. Okay. And never point a firearm at anything you don't intend to kill or harm. So those 4 basic safety rules, I tried to look it up. I was told once, and it actually was developed overseas, World War II, by a Marine, and they was noticing a lot of accidental friendly fire injuries. Okay, but what was they noticing was a lot of people was running and tripping. Safety was off, fingers on the trigger, and they would accidentally shoot their own partner, okay? And they had a lot of that. So what did they do? They started to instill the 4 basic safety rules, and they saw a dramatic decline in accidental discharges. On the civilian side, you need to think about this. If you are obeying all of those rules, you can violate 1 and no one's hurt. If you violate 2 of them, someone's getting hurt or killed. Okay? So if you have a mechanical problem and the gun, let's not use mechanical, let's say you accidentally put your finger on the trigger and you press it. Okay? So you've violated that safety rule, but you have it pointed straight down to the ground. Okay? It doesn't hurt anyone. Okay? But if it's pointed at someone and you violate both rules, someone gets hurt. Okay? So those 4 basic safety rules are just paramount in gun handling. Now we also get into legal. Who all has been seeing the news with the McCloskeys? Is that how you pronounce their name? Okay. They had every right to defend their property. Okay, I have no doubt about that. Okay. Unfortunately, maybe a little bit of firearms training and handling would have made that look a lot better for them. Okay. You know, finger on trigger, waving it around. Okay, it does not look good. What if she would have been startled or scared and just had what we call an empathetic reaction? Okay, when you're startled or scared, what do? You flinch. Okay, yes. So I mean, you need to think about that. Gun safety training and handling is paramount for every firearm. You know, the Second Amendment is a right, but it's also a responsibility. Okay, you have a responsibility not only to be safe to yourself, but safe to your family. If you're protecting your home, you hear someone startling, something rustling around in your home, and you grab the handgun, and you got the finger on the trigger, safety off, and you come around the corner, and there your 13-year-old boy has, got something out of the fridge that scares you, and you shoot your own child because of gun safety. Okay? It's happened. Okay? That's not just a made-up story that I'm making up. Okay? It happens. Okay? So you need to think about that. Gun safety and handling is absolutely paramount. And we go through this with all of our classes. It's just required. You have to go over gun safety, because if you don't hear it, it's just not ingrained in your mind, and you just don't make it a habit. Okay? People get a little bit lax. I can't tell you how many times I've had people come in, need gun work, on the gun they're carrying, and they just draw a loaded weapon and they flag me. Okay? Let me tell you what, that will, pucker factor does not describe, okay, when people start pointing a firearm at you, okay? It's just not good. So that's my main focus. Know your weapon, be fitted to it, get good training. Going to your good buddy's farm and shooting, okay, that may be entertaining, okay, but that's not really what I would call gun training. That's practice, okay. Find a professional instructor, okay, someone that's certified and knows what they're talking about, and someone you feel comfortable with, and pay a little bit of that fee for that training to them and get better educated. Any questions about either the gun shop or firearm safety or training?
I had talked to them Facebook about some of the training for the
I'm sure you'll want to hear that.
I'd ask you about your classes. Do you have any time frame for having any classes?
A lot of people that know me personally know that the gun shop is kind of a part-time deal, so it is best to get appointments. I will usually post up your standard SDA classes on Facebook or online when I have enough people signed up. If you have groups, I like to have at least 4 people or more for handgun, carbine, shotgun, or long-range rifle. I'm a certified instructor in all 4 of those. Do have a 1,000-yard range if you want to learn how to deer hunt out to 1,000 yards. That's a pretty interesting marksmanship class. If you've never taken your 30-06 out that far, we can get you on target. But classes right now are usually set up around the schedule and just kind of like a private class.
How much do you charge for that?
Depends on the class, and I try to have one-day classes. The SDA classes are $60. Handgun, your basic handgun classes or a carbine class, which is a one-day class, is $160. And that's a full day on the range. And I'm trying to put in about 3 days worth of class into an 8 to 10 hour day on the range. I know a lot of people would love to go to Gunsight, Tulsa Training Academy, places like that, but they don't have 3 or 5 days, to take one of those longer classes. So I try and focus on one-day classes. I'm also looking at splitting up classes over several weekends. So if you have one day, a week, you can get that split up. That way it works with people's schedules.
Your Facebook page name. Your Facebook page name.
Facebook is Salt Fork Armory. Yeah,
Do you have any literature, Kobe?
I have a couple of business cards. I can hand some of those out. I wasn't able to get all of my business cards because I'm actually installing a gas stove for my wife at home right now.
You just became a grandpa.
Yes, so we're trying to get that some covered. But I do believe Terry has some. You said you had some extra cards?
Yes.
Yes, should have plenty of cards to pass around. And we do everything from gunsmithing, ordering in stuff, if you can get it in because of this coronavirus panic, scare, whatever you want to call it. Not only are firearms hard to get a hold of, so are parts. Perfect example, numerous gun parts, which deal with a lot of obsolete or older firearms parts. They've been shut down for 2 months because they was in the communist state of New York. They were not able to let any employees in, and they were shut down. I waited for 2 months on 2 springs and a pin. And that was the only place that had it. Nothing else, I'll hand this back over to Sherry.
Thank you.
Really appreciate Kobe taking his time, especially with the new grandson, just arrived 2 days ago.
Yep, 2 days ago.
Big day. Okay. I want to cover a few of the things that OK2A has been involved in here recently. They were involved in the OFAS shoot. Kobe was there, and we had a table down there. We had a lot of kids that were able to shoot full auto with a 22 long rifle. And I can't think of a better way to get a young kid fired up about shooting sports. Handed them a full auto. In fact, I think I'm going to talking to Kobe about a binary trigger. I think I'm going to put one on my 1022 because I can afford to pour an awful lot of ammo in 22 rifle. You can get about the same rate of fire with those binary triggers you can with full auto, can't you?
Pretty close.
Yeah. Anyway, two of the OK2A members won prizes. One won a silencer and another won a pistol. OK2A.org is our website. If you anything you want to get updated on. Plus, I want everybody to leave here with at least a couple of my cards. My phone number is on the card. You can call me at any time. If you get a voicemail, leave a message. I will get back to you. As I said, we're encouraging people to join OK2A. They're coming for our guns, folks. Our enemies are organized. If we don't get organized, I've said this before, they will literally bury us one at a time. As Ben Franklin said, we must assuredly hang together, or we must hang together, or we assuredly will hang separately. And that's the situation we're in today in America, folks. You see it every day on the news. Our favorite way to support us is called a recurring membership. It charges your credit card $5, $10, $15, $20, $25, $50, or $100 a month. And the reason we like those is we can budget. We spend a lot of money on attorneys, and we're all volunteers, but this kind of stuff, when legal stuff is involved, it burns up cash. We have attorneys that help us, but they can't do it all pro bono. In November, the Wanamaker Gun Show is on in Tulsa, and we will have a booth there. And I'm assuming that's going to go. You know how things are these days. But at this point, the November Wanamaker Show is on.
Do you have the date?
Do you know the
Yeah,
date?
it's November 2nd, 3rd, I think. I'll verify that and I'll let you know.
Has anybody here heard of Senator Wayne Shaw out of Grove, Oklahoma? That's the other side of 10 Killer, I think. Mr. Wayne Shaw, Senator. Yes. Senator Wayne Shaw was an 8-year senator in the state legislature. He killed 8 pro-Second Amendment bills last year in his committee. He was head of the Public Safety Committee in the Senate. And he killed 8 bills in his committee. And he told OK2A to their face he wasn't going to pass any gun bills out of his committee. So we, along with other people, but primarily OK2A, got involved in his primary. And he lost to challenger Blake Cowboy Stevens. Like I said, this is after he'd held the seat for 8 years. Folks, nothing gets these politicians appointments like fire in their ass. And I'll guarantee you everybody in the state legislature knows what happened to Wayne Shaw. And the reason we're able to do that is we are organized. Keep coming back to that word. We've got to get and keep and be better organized to combat these people. I covered massive care. Some of the bills we want to get work on in the future, a teacher carry enhancement. The only way to have a safe school is to have armed, good people in the school. And none of these school shootings, most of you probably aren't old enough. There were never any school shootings in America until Bill Clinton made it against the law to carry a weapon within 1,000 feet of a schoolyard. That's when the school shooting started. These little dickheads, excuse my language. They get on campus with a gun, and for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, they're the big man on campus. That's what this is all about. They wouldn't even carry a gun on the campus, and certainly not pull it out and use it if they knew there was one armed good guy on the campus.
Freeze up.
Yeah, exactly. We want to get it, right now you can carry a long gun in your vehicle, but you cannot have a round chamber. We want to get that corrected. There's some of the concealed carry, this needs a little bit of fine tuning and cleanup. We want to work on those. We want to get capital carry, as long as you have your permit. In other words, you can go in to the state capitol and not have to give your weapon up or leave it in your car. We want to remove the enhanced university penalty. I mean, again, guns on campus, no gun violence on campus, as long as they're the good guys with the guns. And we want to get the guns and liquor felony either removed or cleaned up. It's just, there's a lot of gray area on that, and I think it's got a lot of people confused. Okay, I've got a little short program that I put together, stockpiling and storing ammo. Are there any questions on what we covered up to this point?
November 14th and 15th, Terry, for Wanamaker.
November 14th, 15th for Wanamakers. Put that on your phone calendar. While you're putting something on your phone calendar, fourth Saturday of every month, 12 noon here. These meetings are set in stone. Even if you don't hear about a meeting, I will guarantee you there will be a meeting the fourth Saturday of every month at 12 noon at this location. You can put that on your calendar and tell your friends. That is set in stone.
What time?
12 noon. 12 noon, the fourth Saturday, this is the location. Now, as far as stockpiling ammo, some of you may have discovered here recently the time to stockpile ammo is when you don't need it. Because when you need it, so does everybody else. I've been all over websites and nobody's got ammo. What's been your luck on getting ammo shipments? Cody?
Pretty much nil now.
Yeah.
Most of my distributors are almost out of all the
Yeah.
inexpensive stuff. You want to buy like whole point, defense ammo, stuff like that, you just go to
Yeah.
$2 around, that's the normal price.
Yeah, exactly. Now, as I said, unfortunately, this isn't the time, but I've got a few things, when things do loosen up, there's some things that I've done, and I'm open to any further suggestions from anybody else. But this is just some of the stuff that I've adopted here in the last several years. I keep ammunition for every caliber of weapon that I own, but I decided for stockpiling to kind of standardize on a few calibers. First off, 22 long rifle. It's cheap comparatively. It's easy to store. You store 1,000 rounds of 22 and you don't need very much space. And a 22 long rifle is going to do 98% of anything you need a gun for in any situation. For handguns, I pretty much standardized on 9mm. Again, I've got a lot of different calibers, but 9mm is usually the more reasonably priced, and I've got a mixture of high-end personal defense 9mm and then just bulk 115 grain full metal jacket. For my main rifle, it's 223 5.56. Again, for probably pretty obvious reason, that probably applies to most people in here. Same things though, they're easier to store than 06 or 08, 308, and you can buy them cheaper. I just got, is anybody here familiar with Australian Outback ammunition? This is high-end stuff. Look it up when you get home online. I just got 900 rounds of 77 grain for less than 45 cents a round. And this is high-end ammo. They use a powder that leaves very little smoke signature when you fire. And I just got this like a few weeks ago. And now you can't find 1,000 rounds or 900 rounds of anything in 223 5.56. But you need to keep an eye on all your sources, local sources and online. Even if I don't need it, if I see a real good deal and I've got the money, I buy it and store it. And then for shotgun, this is a tough one, 12 gauge. Primarily double aught buck, though I keep some game loads as well for hunting. And in fact, when I load a shotgun, I load birdshot or game load as the first round, because if you hit somebody in the face with a birdshot, you've got a distinct advantage in your gunfight. And then for pistol caliber carbines and handguns, 9mm and 22 mag. I like 22 mag. Again, it's an advantage of light and easy to store. I can, in a bag, I can put a 22 mag carbine, 22 mag semi-auto pistol, and 1,000 rounds of ammo, and carry it easily. It'd be kind of hard to do that with 9mm. Buy in bulk when you can. Again, if you find a good deal and you can afford 1,000 rounds, get 1,000 rounds. There's a number of reasons we need ammo. Ammo for hunting, ammo for home and personal defense, ammo for training, and this with some reservation, but in a SHTF situation, ammo will be a hell of a barter too. I just would advise, make sure you know who you're trading ammo with. I can't think of anything more embarrassing than somebody come back and shoot you with the ammo you gave them. So, and the ammo you want for hunting is not necessarily the ammo you want for home defense, and that's not necessarily the ammo you want for training. I would rather train with 18 or 20 or 24 cent a round 9mm than 80 cent a round 9mm, or $2 a round 9mm. Okay. Any questions on any of that? Any comments? Anybody got any other suggestions? I just think I know everything. Okay. Now, storage. Yeah.
What are some of the laws on bullet making?
You know, I don't know anything about reloading. Kobe, can you help me with that question? Are there any laws concerning reloading?
Only law will be federal. If you're producing for other people, you have to actually be licensed to pay excise tax.
Because as long as you're producing it for yourself.
As long as you're not selling it.
Yeah, so just don't sell it.
Anything armor piercing.
Yeah. That's federal law on armor piercing, isn't
You
there?
can't sell armor piercing. You can possess armor piercing bullet. You can load them for yourself, but you cannot sell them.
Now, M855 is not considered armor piercing, is it?
No.
Okay, legally, okay. All right, any other questions or comments? Okay. For ammo storage, two enemies of storing ammo, heat and moisture. So you want to store your ammo in your house, not in your garage. You want it in a controlled environment. Now, containers, you want something airtight. Now, I'm sure everybody's familiar with the typical metal ammo can. There's a company called MTM that makes pretty nice plastic ones. They're quite a bit lighter. If I was doing a lot of heavy hauling around, I would want the metal. But for storing for in your closet or under your bed, these work fine. And what you want to look for on all of these, and a lot of these green ammo cans you find are surplus. You're going to buy them especially surplus, but I would even do this on new ones. Open the lid and visually inspect the O-ring seal all the way around. If there's a fault or a problem with it, put it back and pick another one. Because what's key with these, when you put that down and lock it, it's airtight. And that will keep the moisture out. And that is absolutely vital. Failing these, if you want to go on the cheap, Master's Choice instant coffee. This, I think this is an applesauce jar from Sam's or Costco or something. But they're airtight. You want to make sure they're clean and dry before you put any ammo in them, obviously. I've got, in fact, if anybody needs any of these, I've got where I can't throw anything away. I've got a 13-gallon garbage bag at my house that is full of these. I'll be glad to give to anybody that is, needs something and doesn't have the resources at this point. As I said, moisture is the enemy. You want to have something inside to help alleviate moisture. Now, probably the best thing are the little silicone gel packets that you get. Just about anything you buy, it's got a little silicone gel packet in it. What's that?
Oxygen something.
Desiccator.
Just, yeah.
Yeah,
Desiccate.
desiccate. Yeah, desiccate. Also, I just looked on Amazon last night. You can buy 50 of them for $11, and they're rechargeable. So if you're going to store ammo, airtight container, some type of desiccant inside. If you don't have any of these, or you don't want to buy any, Kobe had a great suggestion: dry rice. Put it in a small envelope and put it in there. Now, with the rice, if you open that up several times, I would replace the rice. With the silica gel, you can put it in your oven. Heat the oven to about 275 degrees. Put it in there for about an hour, and that'll cook all the heat out of it. You can do it in the microwave, but some of the silica gels, the microwave can melt them, and that's not good. So I would recommend, if you're going to do that, do it in an oven. If you seal it up, you've got some type of desiccant inside. If you don't open it, that desiccant will be good for forever. If you open it and close it, every time you open it, you're letting moisture in, that desiccant has to absorb more moisture. So if you're into something several times, at that point, I would either recharge or put a new packet in. Okay. Now, going to open the floor up for questions, comments, discussion, suggestions. If anybody's got any suggestions on ways to get the word out about these meetings, or something you'd like to see in a meeting, please let me know. Any questions? Tony, you've always got a question.
Well, we want to create, kind of a 9mm. He used to be a police officer in San Diego, and a long time ago, and spent 30 years in the Navy. I don't like automatics. I like revolvers.
Yeah. Well, as Kobe said, they're foolproof. It's what, 200-year-old technology.
I like revolvers.
Yeah, there's nothing that can go wrong with them.
Right. So, what we want to create, so we can more do this.
38 special. My favorite revolver is a .357 Magnum.
That's what I want.
Yeah, because you can go the range and shoot 38 specials cheaper. And I don't know if it's still the case, but I read years ago that the .357 Magnum had the best stats for first stop. Do you know anything about that, Kobe?
Pistols are terrible at killing people. I'm serious. I'm going to give a real quick history on that. Has everyone heard about the Miami-Dade FBI shooting back in the 70s?
The FBI Dade shoot back in the 70s. Does anyone remember that or heard about it? It was a great big shootout that they had with some criminals. Most rounds ever expended in a law enforcement engagement. At that time, they was shooting 38 specials, and they'd just been issued brand new Smith & Wesson. I can't remember the model, but it was a 9mm. And they had a lot of problems with stopping power. Okay, the few guys that had the .357 Magnum revolver, they was just, there were stories of literally like cars exploding like 18 movies. Okay. So that is when the FBI switched to the 10mm. The 10mm was basically overkill, and then they reduced it to the 40 Smith & Wesson, which I lovingly call the 40 short and weak. Now, they've reversed course 100%, and now the FBI has gone away from the 40 Smith & Wesson to the 9mm. Why? Statistically, okay? They started actually looking at actual statistics and hospital data. 80% of everyone shot with a handgun survives. That's just statistics. I mean, 80% of everyone shot with a handgun survives. 80% of everyone shot with a shotgun or a rifle dies. Okay? Now, you change that with shot placement. Okay? Shot placement and a high volume of fire with a handgun will make them stop doing what you don't want them to do anymore. Again, that goes back to training and shot placement. Okay? Knowing how to run your gun, not just shoot it, run it and operate it. So they went back to 9mm. Bullet technology has also come around. In the 80s, the old Federal Hydroshock was the top performing hollow point bullet. Now they have solid copper hollow points that perform much, much better. But I tell everyone, the only reason you have a handgun is to fight your way to a long gun. Okay? Handgun is your last resort weapon. Can it be effective? Yes. Okay? If used properly. So that's my little soapbox on that.
Words of wisdom.
Chair.
Yes.
This lady's been trying to ask a question. Well,
I was just asking or wondering, I've heard so much about I want to take a training in gun class and safety. Now, I've been told you have to bring your own gun. Then they said they supply the gun, and then they want you to have all this material on when you take the training. And then they tell you how much extra or how much money it costs. So what is the truth on how's the training go? You know, exactly. I want to.
Well, as far as having a gun or being able to use a gun at the school, that is going to depend, I'm sure, on where you do it, who does the instruction.
I can answer that.
If you're a first-time shooter and you don't presently own a weapon right now, there are rentals available. What you would have to be purchasing would be the ammunition. As far as basic holsters and stuff like that, that would be included with the gun rental. What's nice about that is it may let you kind of choose what fits you best as far as what you want to use, and then you can look at purchasing your own firearm later after you get some training. I would actually suggest trying several out before you actually go out and buy one, because I mean that's a large investment. I mean, at a minimum, you're probably looking at $500 to $700 for a really good high quality pistol. And if you was to buy something unknowingly that's not going to work for you, that's just wasted money. So either find someone that you can borrow one, or find a shop that can
Gun range
have
don't
one.
have that option where you can say, okay, I want to try this gun or.
We will have that, yes. Yes, so we would have rentals available.
Hopefully that's.
Yeah, we've got at least 3 people here today that do the SDA training. SDA is Self-Defense Act, and same thing as concealed carry. It's just got a different nomenclature here in Oklahoma. But Kobe does it, Glenn back there does it, and so does Steve back there on the video equipment. So it's easy to find the training. And but Kobe's advice: try several handguns. You don't want to buy something that you're not going to be comfortable with.
And now, when you acquire, when you complete your testing, that's when you receive your identification saying you will have legally.
Well, you complete the course, and then you apply to the OSB, is it OSBI, and they run a check, and then they mail you your card. You've got to be able to defend yourself. Also, just in case you're not aware, you would want to get some training first. But you can carry a weapon, open or concealed, in Oklahoma now. Again, thanks very much to the efforts of OK2A last November. The governor signed a bill. We have constitutional carry here. So you're allowed to carry without a permit, but you definitely want to get training before you carry.
That's what my lawyer told me. She said, Laura, she said, you're gonna have to, she said, there's somebody after you, they're coming down on you. She said, you need to watch your back and you need to let, don't anybody, where you're going, your family. You need to let your family know where you're going at all times because somebody's coming down on you. She said, matter of fact, she said, you can go get you a gun right now. You're gonna get the gun that you already have, but I don't want to backtrack 20 years. Get a gun that.
Well, and like I say, you want to get trained, and you're allowed to carry here without a permit, but, and I'm no lawyer, but if you don't have a permit and you're involved in a self-defense shooting, I can almost guarantee you the DA is going to use that in court to beat you over the head. He was running around without a gun, didn't have any training. So just to cover your tail, it would be a good idea to have the permit. Yes, Wayne?
So for anyone that was thinking about joining OK2A, there is a organization called US Law Shield, and we prefer you to join US Law Shield before you join OK2A. US Law Shield, if you're involved in the Self-Defense Act, it's going to cost you $10,000 to retain a lawyer right off the bat. It could cost up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. It completely could bankrupt you if you do not have some type of protection. U.S. Law Shield provides civil and criminal representation in a court of law. The lawyer should be there within an hour at the time of the shooting or the time of the self-defense. They also teach you, they have seminars, they teach you what to say to law enforcement when they come, you know, how to protect your own rights, etc. It's called U.S. Law Shield. It's $10.95 a month. It's well worth the investment if you're going to even think about protecting yourself with any type of any situation. They'll protect you with a knife. If you say the very gentleman that ran his horse trailer on 244 in Tulsa, and he had to bulldoze through the crowd, if he would have had U.S. Law Shield, they would have protected him in that situation. Any defensive situation that you encounter, U.S. Law Shield is going to protect you. There are other organizations too that are just as good, but U.S. Law Shield is kind of one that we kind of partner with.
I just read last night that the DA's declined to prosecute the driver, but he's still, I'll guarantee he's still out 5 figures for lawyers at this point. So it's a good idea. But you don't have to be a member of U.S. Law Shield to join OK2A. No. In fact, we have members that don't own guns, that just support the Second Amendment. So we really encourage it. Any other comments, questions? Yes.
I know you're on the Back the Blue page on Facebook.
Yeah.
There is a Back the Blue rally August 1st here at home.
Yes.
Here, why don't you give us some detail, where it's going to be, you know?
Well, I'll tell you what, a Back the Blue rally here in Ponca City on August 1st. We need to get behind these law enforcement people. This is what's going on. There's been a war on law enforcement in this country for years. There's been ambushes, and it seems like most of them are called out on domestic disputes. And then they get there and they're ambushed. The NFL, remember those 5 cops that got killed in Dallas a couple of years ago? The Dallas Cowboys wanted to put a sticker on their helmet honoring them. NFL said, no, we can't do that, it's too political. And look at the crap they're doing now. Yeah, exactly. So, I've got a couple of door prizes. What they are pennies that have the Second Amendment engraved on them. And I was trying to figure the easiest, so I didn't want to pass out tickets and have a drawing. It's not that big of a deal anyway. So what I'm going to do, I know we've got somebody here from Yukon. Has anybody driven further than Yukon? You get the first one.
During this make-believe coin shortage?
Yeah.
I turned mine all the way there.
Yeah. Okay, I know I've got, who else drove a distance? Give me some mileage.
Probably
It's like 80 miles?
95 miles.
95 miles. Anybody got more than 95? All right.
Where are you from?
Edmund,
Good, wow.
I Winona Helpsel. Winona Helpsel.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you.
Yes,
Putting all this stuff on the cans, didn't want them sprayed through the houses, get 100,000 rounds.
well,
What was the question? What did he ask?
you want, when you have ammunition stockpiled, do you want it all piled in one place or spread out? I see disadvantages with both. I have,
Yeah.
I bought the best thing is to buy a safe. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's, under my bed is full. That's where all my 22 is. I'm not bothering putting 22 ammo on the site. But, you know, that's gonna, there's advantages and disadvantages to both that I see. As if it's in one location, as long as that place doesn't get a fire, you're okay. If you've got them spread all over, any fire is gonna set ammo off. If you've got ammo in the house and the house is on fire, warn the first responders when they get there. And you just stand back and watch your house burn at that point and watch the fireworks. But for God's sakes, yes.
Terry, our church has started a group called SOFR. It's, we go to the Ponca City Police Department, and the chief allows us to do this. The chief allows us to do this. We go up there and we go around the flagpole and we pray for our first responders in Ponca City and all over. Anybody's welcome to do it. We meet at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock at the police department here on 2nd Street. And if you're willing to come up and pray with us, that'd be wonderful. So it's the last Monday of every month.
Oh, okay, so it'll be the Monday that falls around our OK2A meeting.
This coming Monday.
It's coming Monday,
yeah.
at 6 p.m. at the flagpole at the police station.
Yep.
We need to show up, folks, and give these people support.
Yes, the chief highly loves us being there. He really loves that.
Pastor Jack is a chaplain with the Ponca City Police Department. So he's pretty plugged in with the folks down there. I don't know, they've got 4 federal law enforcement officers, I forget what city. They think they're going to be permanently blinded because his riders were shooting them in the eyes with lasers. They're throwing bricks, using skateboards. I never thought of a skateboard as a weapon until the last couple of months. But these city administrations have got to let these people defend themselves. Of course, I'm a suspicious guy. I've got a theory about this defund the cops movement. Think about this for a minute. All of this anti-publicity, the defund the movements on the police departments, this is going to get a lot of really good officers to retire early or quit or go into private security, which is going to be a growth industry, especially if they defund police departments. So you eliminate the cream of the crop with your law enforcement officers. Then these liberal city administrations start whining, well, we don't have enough police officers. What if they start recruiting and hiring and training Antifa and BLM people? Think about that.
Need diversity on the force.
Exactly. This is exactly what they did in Nazi Germany when the Nazis took over in 1933. Everybody know who Hermann Goering was? He was #2 Nazi. Hitler made him the head of all of the police organizations in Germany. It later evolved onto Heinrich Himmler, but in the early days it was Goering. And they fired, jailed in some cases, and got rid of the non-Nazi leaning officers. And then they brought in their brown shirts. Everybody knows who the brown shirts were? Antifa and BLM in America today are the brown shirts. They're exactly the same strategy and tactics. They go on the streets, they physically assault people that they have political disagreements with, and the police back then were in sympathy with them. They were standing by and watching. Now the police are under orders from these liberal administrations to not respond. It's the exact same scenario. Within about 6 months of Hitler taking power in late January 1933, he had Nazified the entire country. The churches, the education, the law enforcement, everything. He did it in 6 months, folks. We're, what, 3 months into this crap that's going on now.
The longer that these liberal cities let this happen, the more emboldened and empowered these radicals become.
They'd have stopped this the first day, there would have been one day. But they know they get, and the level of violence from these mobs is increasing every day.
Yeah. And they're sneaking in like 3 a.m. in the morning and doing even more damage than they're showing until that time.
As I mentioned here before, I don't own a TV set. I get a lot of news off the internet, and this whole thing. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy, but I don't know what else to call it. This has been something that's been in the works. I think the first overt function of this deep state was when they killed John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Whether you agree with him or not, they blew his head off in Dallas. And that whole thing stinks. I was about 15, I guess, when that happened. And I was a huge JFK fan. And I have read literally scores of books on that assassination. And there's so many holes into that deal. And it just fits perfectly with what we're hearing now about the deep state. They tried a coup, a bloodless coup against our president. It didn't work. They couldn't indict him. So now we've gone from the bloodless to the bloodshed part of their coup plan. And that's exactly what's going on here, folks. Everybody's got to get out and vote. If you got any friends or neighbors that can't get to the polls, give them a ride. We need a major right-wing landslide this next November to save this country, folks. If we get that, we've got a chance of saving the country without blood in the street and civil war. If we don't do that, God knows where this is going to end up. You got another question?
Oh, well, I just wanted to address this issue. You know, a while back, probably about 3 years back when this movie came out, I watched the movie.
I don't want to talk about movies.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
One of my pet peeves, you hear this in the media all the time. There's an explosion or a shooting or something. And the people they interview said, it was like a movie. No, it's not. In the movie, the people get up and go home after the day's shooting. They're shooting with cameras, not with guns. It is not a movie. This is real life, folks.
Right. That's the point I was getting across.
When these people go down because they're shot, they don't get back up.
Because they have directly come against the police officers, and I did call the Ponca City Police, and I told them, I said, this is going to trickle down south, what's happening up north.
It's happening all over. We are fortunate to be in Oklahoma. I just moved back here in 2017. I left Oklahoma in 1954. And I knew that it was going to fall apart in the cities. I came from Albuquerque. That's one of the 2 cities that President Trump is putting federal law enforcement into, Chicago and Albuquerque. That'll give you an idea of the kind of locality I came from. And we've got, even though we're somewhat isolated here, we need to be on guard and we need to be prepared. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Well, kind of like attitude about just how threatening China is, and how it seems like any day they can use EMP technology against us, and just to be prepared and, you know, like you said, vote for a second. Human rights is so important right now. The Chinese influence is horrible.
I've been concerned about EMP for years. Iran, they only need to shoot a missile up a couple of 100 miles. And I've heard that 3 small nuclear devices would knock out all the electronics in North America. Imagine instantly moving back 100, 150 years. What's that?
And they're capable of it.
Well, I've read estimates by supposedly government committees.
And Trump went to North Korea, his first act as governor, as president of the United States, was to go straight to North Korea.
Yeah.
And his record of following through with every attack that's been against America has been his priority. And if you can't vote for that, I don't know what you're gonna vote for, because he is an safety factor.
Estimates that I've heard, if an EMP attack hit within a year, 90% of America's population would be dead. 90%, 9 out of 10. And even if that's way over, if it's 1 out of 10, that's what, 35 million people. Like I said, COVID, I heard that word last night, pandemic.
Yeah.
I thought that kind of rings a bell with me. I've never seen such dangerous times in this country, and I'm almost 73 years old. So spread the word, spread the cards. I got lots of cards. I want to get them out there with the meeting information on the back. Anybody's got one of my cards in their hand will know where to come to be involved with OK2A and how to get in touch with me for information. And any of you, don't hesitate to contact me. I got my email and my phone number on my cards. And I'm glad, this is my mission in life, folks. This is the most important thing I've ever been involved in my almost 73 years on this planet. Because this is something that will have an effect on this country 10 years, 50 years, 100, 200 years into the future. This is your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids. This is who we need to fight this fight for. Because if we're organized and we're armed, we're citizens. If we're not armed, we're subjects. And that's what these people want. They want their foot on our throat or they want us dead. And I mean that literally. This is what they want. Just listen to the way they talk. Any other comments? Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.